Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to compare the iPad Pro 11-inch with Magic Keyboard versus the iPad Pro 12.9 inch I should say, with Magic Keyboard. Now, the first thing I would say is simply this. The weight distribution on both of these isn't great, but with it being 12.9 inches, the heavier screen, the bigger screen, this is worse. This one, you don't really feel it as much in terms of the weight distribution. Now what I mean by that is when you turn it this way, now imagine this has to be on your lap, right? It's going to be doing this a lot, because the weight of the screen is going to be pulling it down, and that can be quite annoying because you're going to have to use your palm to balance it, and that is a real, reality of the situation. Now, it does happen with this as well, with the 11-inch, but it's nowhere near as bad because the 11-inch screen is a little bit smaller, so it also weighs a little bit less. So it's not too bad. It's still not great. That's something you're gonna have to definitely deal with. What is super interesting to me though is, even though the keys, now I'm gonna drop the camera down a little bit, so let's go down there a little bit. Now you're gonna notice the keys on the 11-inch on the left are a little bit narrower than the keys on the right. But what's weird to me is I much prefer the 11-inch key, because for some reason they just, to me, seem a little bit more comfortable to type on. I'm not too sure why. It might just be because my arms are close together, maybe. Form factor is better, so there's less tilt, like I was mentioning before, on your lap. It feels, it feels like you just take this and you just go. With the 12.9 inch, it's less, it's just less ready for that. You can obviously hit the same thing, but it's just more weighty. It feels more like a laptop, and this cannot replace your laptop yet. So until it can, it doesn't really justify the weight. So if I just put it back on, it doesn't really justify the weight. So to me, I prefer the experience for the most part on the 11-inch. Now you see, I just dropped my iPad. Okay. So what you shouldn't do is hold your screen like this. Alright, hold it from the back. Learn from me. Alright, I'm keeping that in there, by the way. It doesn't matter. We'll keep the bloopers in. It's all good. So, okay, so the obvious thing to say is the screen on the 12.9 inch is bigger, and some would say it's better, but to be honest, for me, if you look at the actual experience, if you look at, for example, how much information is on the screens right now, it's basically the same. There are no more apps on here. Sorry, there are no more apps on here than there are on here. The screen is basically doing the same thing. So you're not really missing out too much in terms of screen real estate by getting the 11-inch. But what you do have is the better form factor. Like, this just feels better. It feels just easier. Maybe I just like the idea of a microcomputer type thing, so I prefer the 11-inch, but it just feels easier to live with. This doesn't. I've had the 12.9 inch for 2 weeks right now, and it just doesn't. It's very ungangly to hold, and I know you guys can all see where this is going. You can all see I much prefer the 11-inch. This is all going to be about personal preference. People tell you about how it feels better on a 12.9 inch. I've heard other people say, that extra screen real estate. But in terms of real you know, in real world use, you're not getting really that much screen real estate. It is just like a slightly bigger version. So for example, on the left, the apps are smaller than they are on the right, but there's not more apps on the page. So it depends, of course. It always depends. You know, this is technology. It's going to be people's decisions. I'm never going to tell people what to do in terms of what they should buy. But for me personally, I think I'll be keeping the 11-inch as my main sidekick to my MacBook Pro. I was hoping that this could replace everything, but it just can't. So I'll be keeping this one. It's just way more nifty. You know, I just like how kind of nifty and, you know, easy to live with this is. You know, you can, so actually that is an issue with the thing. So actually I'll show you guys this because I haven't seen anybody else talk about it too much. But you just saw me trying to open the keyboard case. So I've put my finger here and ripped it here. So you see that is, you know, not really great, is it? Okay, so let's put that back on. This is now another thing I want to talk about is just the whole point of having a Magic Keyboard, because this is about reviewing both of these products with the Magic Keyboard. So it's about being able to just do this and just take it with you, and you know, okay, we're doing this, we're presenting, we're being fancy, and hey, we're putting it back. Look, hey. But when you do it with this one, don't wrong, this is not heavy. It is not heavy. Anyone who says it's heavy, you're lying to me. Sorry, but you're lying to me, because if you compare the weight of these two products, it's not that much difference. Now, if you're just holding it in one hand for a long time, you're gonna feel a bit more on the 12.9 inch than you on the 11 inch. But it's not heavy by any means. I'm having a bit of trouble there. But in terms of just taking it off and taking it off, in terms of taking it off and then putting it back on, you know, see that little bit of the little ollie there. It's not as, let's say, seamless as the 11 inch for me. I think I like the 11 inch a lot better. And as I said, I even prefer the keyboard, which is quite strange. So those are my thoughts, guys. So those were my thoughts on the 11-inch iPad Pro with Magic Keyboard and the 12-inch iPad Pro with Magic Keyboard. Now, whichever one you get, you're going to be happy, in my opinion. They're both amazing computers, super fast. The 120 Hz screen is amazing. You have to experience that. Ultimately, the size is going to be a personal choice. I would prefer, I mean, I've actually, when I initially bought this one, the 2018 model, I bought the 12.9 inch and I returned it because it was too big and too, you know, ungangly, and there wasn't a Magic Keyboard at the time. I thought this time with the Magic Keyboard, it would make it a better experience and maybe easier to live with the 12.9 inch. And in a way it has, but the problem is, like I said, it doesn't replace your laptop. So you're gonna need to have this big tablet keyboard combination as well as have a computer. So it's not really, it kind of feels a little bit in a bit of a limbo, because it's got a lot of power, it can't replace your laptop, it's taking up a lot of space, it's heavy. So you kind of just, for me personally, I just kind of want something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit less, a little bit easier to live with. And I think for me, the 11 inch is the one I'd go with. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Also, I'll be making more content as time goes on. I'm an early channel, trying to grow, trying to get better, trying to learn. I think you've seen my first video is completely terrible. I'm trying to improve the quality as we go. And so give me a subscribe and show a little bit of support. I appreciate it. Peace.